First up, we have Julia Dennison. She's a digital director for Parents Magazine and Fit Pregnancy. She is a working mother herself. She enjoys writing about family, food, and feminism.
Hi, where am I sitting?
All right, second up, we have, we have Masi Arias. She is formerly known as Manco Fit. She's a certified personal trainer. I need one, so I'll talk to you after. She's a fitness sensation with a fan following of over 2 million on Instagram. She's a proud mama and motivator. This year alone, Masi has been on the cover of Women's Health Magazine, Strong Fitness Magazine, Parents Magazine, Oxygen Magazine, and I run out of breath. I can't even name them all. We're only in May, honey. Slow down. All right.
Thank you.
And I totally went in the wrong order. I was supposed to introduce somebody else first. Sorry. All right. We have Rachel Blumenthal. She's a mother of two, a CEO and founder of Rockets of Awesome. This is a successful clothing delivery brand for children. How amazing is that when you don't have to really go shop for your own kids? Entrepreneur. Rachel loves building authentic brands and businesses that solve problems. All right. We have Kate Davis up next. Here she is. Kate Davis is a senior editor at Fast Company, where she leads a team covering all aspects of work life. She regularly covers issues relevant to working parents in the section Second Shift. She is also the mother of a 21-month-old. All right, our dynamic panel will be moderated by Miss Lila Oguneke. She is a seasoned media veteran. She's traveled the globe as a writer and television correspondent covering key events in entertainment. She currently hosts People TV, a series that explores the biggest stories in pop culture. Welcome to our 2018 Power Mom panel. I hand it over to you.
Thank you.
Are you giving it, Mike?
No, I'll take that. Thank you. How are you guys feeling today? Oh, I like that. You guys are pumped. Usually I have to ask twice, but I won't ask again unless you want me to. How are you feeling today? Yeah, now we're talking. It's going to be a party.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really excited to be here today. And ladies, I cannot wait to speak with each of you. So let's just get this party started. I want to know the one cool or funny thing that your child or children are doing now that just makes you smile or laugh or want to tweet about, share on Instagram.
Well, so my son is 21 months old,
Okay.
and he is really into making up his own songs right now. So a lot of the mornings start with his tambourine and his song about soup.
Okay.
Which goes.
Care to
soup,
sing it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It goes soup, soup. I like soup. Marching around the house every morning. It's great.
Kind of sounds like Kanye's new song, actually. Oh yeah, it's going to be that type of panel, ladies.
Kanye has been great.
Soupity soup. It sounds like. Julia.
Sure. So my daughter is almost 2. She'll be 2 in June. And she's really obsessed with bubbles right now, which is super cute. But she hasn't quite figured out that bubbles pop. So she'll say, bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And then she'll go, where'd it go? Where'd it go? She's like looking under the couch. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's like, oh no, they pop. And I realized like there's these moments where you're like, oh, I have to explain to you that bubbles don't live forever.
Wow.
I'm really sorry. But yeah, it's cute.
That's adorable. Mossy, your turn.
My child in the back, she's 50 months old, and what
She is the
doing
most
now that is
adorable little
super-
nugget I've ever seen. She's making my ovaries ache.
I don't know, what is she doing? Like, she obviously, being 50 months old, what is she doing? Well, I guess any time that she drops the phone or sees something that she shouldn't be doing, she goes, oh no. And she's really just obsessed with that word lately. But she is so independent, you know, so like, I'm just gonna go and be my own little person, and she's just indie. So anything that she does is just like cute. I don't know. Like, she's not there yet. She has conversations with her cousin, like full-blown conversations where she's like, I have no idea what she's saying, but you know, I'm pretty sure that you guys experienced that. But that's what she does. Like the whole, oh no, and it's so cute. Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
So I have two kids. Gemma is 3 and Griffin is 7. So Griffin's not as funny anymore as when they were little.
He's got to work on his routine.
He's like I call him a tweenager. So he is like really pushing the limits of what is acceptable language.
What is he saying?
Anything you can imagine, from like bathroom words to curse words. That is what he says. And my 3-year-old Gemma, who is like a drunk Chris Farley all the time, she just likes to mimic everything he says. So her favorite thing to say is OM, and then she whispers the word fuck. And then she will walk around
I told you it was going to be that type of panel.
And then she walks
Our
around the
first
house
F-bomb
going,
of the day, 3 minutes into the panel. Will it be our last? I don't think so, ladies.
And she's like this blonde cherub, so walking around like spelling F-U-C-K while you're horrified is actually really funny.
I think Modern Family had a whole episode dedicated to that, right?
Yes, they did.
One of the kids was walking down the aisle and cursing the entire way, and they were horrified. So where should we start, ladies? I feel like it's really important to empower other women, and panels like this are really great about doing that. I moderated one earlier this week, and a lawyer by the name of Nina Shaw, she's one of the founding members of the Time's Up movement. She said that if you want to be a woman in power, empower other women. So if you want to be a woman in power, empower other women. Tweet that. I'll say it one more time. So if you want to be a woman in power, empower other women. How do you ladies feel about that statement? And is it something that guides sort of how you both work and balance motherhood as well?
I think I don't know. You're looking at me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
yes.
feel like you're.
I'm sorry, Kate. Yes, Kate. I'll call upon you first.
It kind of relates to the other famous quote, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women.
That's very true.
I would say it also extends to men, though. I think there's been studies that have shown that the best ally or the best people to promote diversity and gender equality at work are white men, because it doesn't appear that they're pushing their own agenda. And so that's something that, I've tried at work before. There's been a time when there was a CEO who was leaving me off of emails and emailing my male colleague instead, and my male colleague would tell me, and he was like, I just wanted to let you know. And I was like, can you actually speak up for me? Because it's going to mean something more if you say, by the way, Kate's the one in charge of this. She's the one that you should go to for it. So I think, obviously, once you get in that position of power, yes, help other women. But until you're there, it's all of those leadership roles are held by men. It's their job, too, to help.
Julia, I see you. No, okay, yes. Yes, ladies, if you want to snap, clap, nod in agreement, shout out amen or hallelujah, please feel free to do that. It's that type of space. Julia, I see you nodding your head in agreement.
Yeah, obviously, I completely agree with the statement. It bothers me that there are studies that show that men benefit in the workplace from being dads. When they become a dad, their salaries can increase. They can get promoted as a result. And women have the opposite effect. We get, we take 2 steps back for the 2 steps forward that men take when they become dads. And that is really shocking to me, because I feel like, as a fairly new mom and as a mom of a toddler, I'm working even harder. Being a mom takes so many more skills, and I do think that moms are still shouldering the vast majority of the parenting, even, in the household when you have a partner. And women end up, I always think, like, I want to hire moms because moms get it done, right? Like, moms are going to do it. Moms aren't going to complain. Moms are just going to do a great job of it. Moms just never let things slide, right? Like we were saying earlier in the green room, you're always like 1 step ahead if you're a mom. You're always trying to solve the problem before it happens. So
I was telling Julia and the ladies here that I feel like my life is dedicated to anticipating fires and putting out fires. So I feel like I'm a human fire extinguisher. I'm always like, something's about to happen, or did we check this, or did we make sure? So I in many ways, I feel like being a mother has made me more efficient and also great about multitasking. Mossy, do you feel the same way? How has motherhood made you the boss ninja that you are today?
To be honest, it's just made me a better daughter. My relationship with my mom is completely different. I'm amazed at what she was able to do with 4 kids. It's made me a better trainer because now I can relate.
How so?
Oh, I can relate now. You know, now I understand what it is when a woman comes to me and says, I have no time. I have 2 kids. I have to go to work. How do I fit in certain things? So it's even shaped my account. You know, me working out with Indy, there's times that I don't get things done. And if I didn't have a supportive husband, I don't know where my career would be. And this is, it's insane the amount of support that I get to be able to do the things that I do for others. But it's made me a better person, more compassionate. Being a mom is tough.
Right.
And when looking at social media, you see motherhood being portrayed as perfection, like things, my hair is perfect. Oh, look at my outfit, all well put together. It took me, you guys have no idea what it took me to get here and be here and travel with her. It's incredible. But back to the question that you said, I think there has to be more camaraderie with women. You know, when you see another woman, for example, there's this, well, since we're
all
using the
sisters.
word,
Yeah.
right? Men have this saying, of course, a little bit vulgar. There's a brotherhood with men. You know the saying. You know, I don't want to say
Just
it because
say
it's
it.
degrading. Bros before,
Oh yeah.
right? And when it comes to women, my experiences have been the moment you see another woman, it's a competition. And to me, and someone asked me this a while ago, oh, would you feel comfortable doing this event with this other trainer? And I said, of course. Yeah. What's for me is for me, and no one can ever take it away from me. You know, I feel there's 8 billion people in the world. We shouldn't be competing with each other. We should be empowering each other. When was the last time that you gave a woman a compliment? You know, I love your dress.
Thank you.
Or no, seriously. Or help each other. I feel like there still has to be a lot more camaraderie between women because we're in constant competition, and society has made that.
It's interesting because I don't know about you, but before I was a mother, I oftentimes would sometimes walk past a mother who was struggling with a stroller or not necessarily even see her. And now whenever I see a mother struggling with a stroller or trying to maneuver around or get through a door, I'm outraged for the people who don't help her. I help her, and I'm also outraged on behalf because she doesn't even have time to be outraged. So sometimes I'll be, excuse me, sir. You can hold the door, and you know the mother's so thankful. Yeah. Or you see a mother get on the train with her kids, and no one gets up. It's horrifying.
Or I've been with a stroller going up and down subway stairs, and like men will just like stroll right past.
That's what they're supposed to do.
And I think it is like you feel invisible a little bit when you
Mm-hmm.
become a mom in some ways.
It's true.
But I think that sort of translates to the workplace too, whereas when you have more moms in charge, more moms that are bosses, like they understand the whole, I need to work from home sometimes, I need like flexible hours, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, Rachel, I read a piece in the New Yorker recently, which was a satire about motherhood, and I wanted to run a few of the things that stood out to me with you first and with you ladies. And ladies, if you can identify again, feel free to clap or snap or say amen. One of the things that the author wrote was, I have kids and the unspoken pressure to act like they don't exist when I'm on a conference call. Okay.
Hallelujah for the mute button.
Okay. Yes. So, Rachel, you're a CEO. Is that something that you've encountered or have had to deal with, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, you know, it's fascinating, right? I run my own company. I am the boss, and I am often embarrassed when that happens. You know, if I'm home taking a call and I'm embarrassed that people can hear my kids in the background. And then I'll try to say to myself, like, what is wrong with you? Like, you are literally balancing 8 million things. The fact that you're taking this call right now and have occupied your kids, like, you should actually want people to hear them in the background, and you should be proud of it, right? And so it is interesting how we feel like we always have to compensate. We always have to make excuses. It's never good enough. And we why do we feel like we're supposed to be the same as the male counterparts? When, to your point, we are way more efficient. We are expert multitaskers. We have typically better EQ, and we're balancing all of these things. Why don't we have the confidence to let people know? When I sneak out of the office to go to something important in my kid's school, why do I even feel like I'm sneaking out? Mm-hmm. Why can't I just tell people, like, I'm actually going to this thing and I'm really proud that I've created a career for myself where I can do that, and I actually want to be an example for all the women that work for me that you should want to, and you can do this also.
I'd say for all of the men too. I think there's a big problem with men not being asked these questions about work-life balance, men not feeling like they can take paternity leave even if they have it, and kind of the double standard of like, oh, you're a mother, and so you have to balance motherhood and work, but if you're a dad, like, it's just obvious that, work comes first or something, and like dads want to be involved too,
Honestly, I feel like with the whole kind of lean in, I feel like there's some leaning out that needs to happen with men, and I always think that it's just as much about the boardroom table as it is about the kitchen table. Like, more that men...
Tweet that, say that again. We're creating moments here, Julia, moments.
Men should be working from home more. The more we just balance it out and men are working from home and men are taking conference calls with their kids screaming in the background, like, that's what needs to happen. I think, like, America as a society likes to pretend with the nuclear family that it's no one else's problem when you have kids, right? That, like you say, like, you hide them away, like, we don't want to hear them on the conference call, but the more we talk about family, the more we talk about, I think in America, we really should be balancing that work-life balance a lot better than, they do a better job of it in Europe, and they understand, like, when the workday is over, it's over, and really, I think across the board, men, women, we all need to kind of, like, understand that family is an important part of life and shouldn't just be, like, an afterthought that you hide away from your job.
Yeah. I mean,
there was a viral moment that went viral on TV, I think last year, when a gentleman was on air and he's talking into a camera and his child comes rushing in, and you see, I think it was his wife or nanny comes scrambling in to drag the child out, and he's just trying to deliver news about it, something serious, and the kid's like, "Daddy!" And I was like, this is the best moment I've ever seen on television. Thank you, sir. Yes, it was fantastic. That moment made me so happy. I think I watched that clip about 800 times. Another line from this satirical piece that made me happy, I have the confidence to speak my mind, ask hard-hitting questions about the project I'm working on, and the ability to keep my ears from bleeding when a room full of male clients explains to me what I don't understand about the female target audience.
I mean, isn't that when you just tell them that they're wrong? Like, they actually have no idea what they're talking about?
Yep. I've had
Julia, you look too angry to even address this.
Working for Parents.com, we look at various products, and we were talking about sort of a pregnancy tracker app, and I was talking about the importance of period tracking. And I was trying to convince a room full of men that women track their periods, and they were looking at me like, oh no, don't they only just track it when there are problems? And I'm like, no. And then also they're like, women won't be tracking their fertility on apps unless they have a problem getting pregnant. And I'm like, talk to all my friends. And then we surveyed our readers, and sure enough, like a vast majority were using period tracker apps. We're, using apps to try and get pregnant, So I've definitely had men try to explain periods to me. And I had to be like, do you want, can I talk? I mean, do you want to ask me for a second? Because I get a period. So.
Period. Mansplaining about periods. Oh, that's a doozy for me. I've never heard that before. Okay, and my favorite line from this satirical piece. I have kids who have forced me to do everything in my life with greater efficiency, and the professional assumption that I'm now less efficient after having kids. Ladies, can I get an amen? There is an assumption that once you have children, you're going to be less effective at work. You may not want to work. I mean, Kate, can you speak to me about that? Is that something that you've noticed as well?
Well, first of all, I will say there is nobody more productive than a mom at home with a sick kid while the kid is napping. I had I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea. And we've done articles, there have been studies that women especially, are more productive once they have kids for all of these reasons. We're like, you have something to get home for. You can't be like goofing around on Facebook. Like, you got somewhere to be, you got things to do. But yes, that assumption is real. You know, like you were saying, there is the daddy, it's called the daddy bonus and the mommy tax, because it's assumed, it works the same way with car insurance. When a man gets married, his rates go down. When a man becomes a dad at work, they assume he's going to be more responsible. But when a woman becomes a mom, it's assumed she's going to scale back and lean out and all of that. And I mean, it sucks, but the only thing that I've found that has worked is just proving them wrong. Like, I work from home 2 days a week. I'm very lucky to work at a very progressive, flexible, you know, office environment that has allowed that. But I get my shit done, and I I'm still delivering in the same way that I was before I was a mom. So there can't be any like, well, you're scaled back.
But that's so much pressure, though.
I know, right? I know.
I was told by someone close to me that when I announced the news, I'm pregnant, and they're like, "Oh my God, your career. What about your career?" Well, I was gangster when I was pregnant, and not only I recently just posted the last workout I did with Indy. And after having Indy, it's more opportunities come. I've been able to, I'm doing it better as a mom now. So it's just like, let me prove you.
More dimension.
Of course,
Yeah.
more, and it
There's
just
more
makes you, exactly, and it just makes you a better human being. And if I didn't have Indy, I don't imagine my life without her, and I feel like, well, obviously I have a very supportive husband, but I'm stronger now than I was before.
Moxie, you bring up an interesting point, though. When your business is your body, it must make the considerations about having a child a little more challenging, a little more difficult, right?
Well, what I do, especially in my social media, I'm trying to change people's perspectives. You work out for a specific aesthetic goal. When you don't see those results, you're just gonna quit. I'm trying to teach people a lifestyle, and this is the lifestyle that I live. I move. I've been able to make small changes that over the 7 years that I've been doing this have translated into lifestyle changes. So my whole entire pregnancy was an example of the things that you as a woman can do if you take care of your body and yourself. And most people who are here who follow me, they know I don't work out. I work out for mental health.
Yes.
And fitness literally changed my life. And after my labor with Indy for 5 hours, I was 8.5 centimeters dilated when I went to have her. I had her. All right, it was really tough. I went through some postpartum depression, but after, I'm right where I was before, and even better. So it's just to show that when you live a lifestyle, my mind is clear. I can work more efficiently. My body feels great. I'm focused. I'm alert. So
Moxie,
this pregnancy was okay, let me show you what you can do. After the fact that I was body shamed, people were telling me, oh, you should just relax, you're working out. I'm like, no, I'm working out because it's healthy for me, for her. And when I'm telling you, I did not experience.
People online, I'm assuming, they body shamed you because you were working out while pregnant?
I had a six-pack when me 6 months pregnant. I still had a six-pack. And it's so crazy because... But it's crazy.
Somebody in the audience said, how dare you?
No, but your baby's so small. And it's nothing to, it's nothing that I'm bragging about. It's just...
Oh, that would be at the top of my resume if I were you. I'd be like...
your baby's so tiny,
No, but you bring up a really good point. I think when you are a woman, and especially when you're pregnant, your body partly belongs to everybody else, to society.
Yes.
Yeah,
For people to touch.
if you do anything.
Absolutely. It's just an open target for people to make a comment about your body when
And
you're
there's
pregnant.
not a
To
one size
comment,
fit all.
to invade your space and touch it without asking, to tell you what to do, to ask you personal questions that you would never ask anyone else. It's just sort of like, how long were you and your husband trying? It's like, are you asking me how often we had sex? What are you doing? No.
And there's no
Only
way
once,
to
Dad.
do parenthood. Yeah. No, but to that point, like there's no specific way of being a parent and being a mom. So you do what works for you, and you do what you need to do in order to take care of your child and fit things into your lifestyle. Because I still have people telling me like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or oh, why are you doing this? At the end of the day, this is my body, that's my daughter, and parenthood and motherhood comes to me however it fits me, because a happy mama is a happy child.
Yes.
So sip on your wine if you feel like it.
Sip on your wine, ladies. Mossy says it's okay. I too work out for both sanity and vanity.
I see the arms.
Oh, thank you.
Look at those arms.
The gun show is
You got that shot? But for me, I box. There's nothing better than for me having 45 minutes to walk into a dark room, listen to some Drake, and wail on a bag. You know, I'm like, started from the bottom, now we're here. It's like, it's great. And it makes me a better mom. I'm interested in, Mossy, you spoke to this earlier. I'm a trip, guys, sorry. But what are your self-care practices? What do you do that helps you just cope with life and the responsibilities and the rigors of being a working mother? Kate, I'll start with you.
Well, I think it's so interesting because I was just having this conversation with some of my other mom friends, and the one mom was getting really frustrated because her husband would just be like, I need to sleep in. And she's like, you can do that? Like, you can. And then she was like, wait, I'll just do that too. And so she will tell him, like, I need to sleep in, and like, he's not going to not take care of their baby. So like she's prioritizing her self-care in the same way that her husband does. Mm-hmm. I do need to be better at that, but I think it's that same sort of thing as I have a yoga class that I go to, and I just tell my husband I'm going to it, and he says okay. Like, I think when you start to just say what you want to do, and it'll happen when you ask for that help, and that goes back to like having, if you're lucky enough to have a supportive spouse that helps co-parent and pick up that slack.
A writer by the name of Tiffany Dufu has this theory that women need to drop the ball more. Yes. It's okay to drop the ball. We feel like we always have to hold on to the ball and keep everything together. You drop the ball, somebody else will be there to pick it up.
It's the best thing I ever learned how to do.
Really?
I have to say, it's like so freeing. Mm-hmm. As somebody that was so type A and everything was like early and the right way and everything. Like mom fails all the time. Like last week, my babysitter called me to pick my son up at school, and he didn't go to school that day. And he was sick, and so she got to school and she said, he's not here. And of course, the school's freaking out because they're wondering where he is. And I was like, oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. And that felt really great that I could just forget to tell her that he didn't go to school that day, and I didn't feel bad about it.
Right.
Like that to me felt like such a win in my book. I was like, yes, I can do that.
And can I say something? You said like it's okay to fail, and it's just like fathers also have a responsibility to co-parent, period. And at the end of the day, we all as human beings, you're going to fail. So putting so much pressure on yourself, I feel like society puts so much pressure. How many roles do you think you have to be playing as a woman? So I say this, only play the roles you feel comfortable and ready to play. Don't put things on your plate that you can handle, because just like you said, I have to do a better job. I haven't stopped working since I was pregnant, and it doesn't stop. So after this event, I'm literally, Stefan and I, we're going to have our little getaway, put my phone off. My social media, nothing is going to go down. If I don't put up a program when I said I was going to put it, guess what? You'll have to wait. And at the end of the day, if you don't take those times to actually take care of yourself and use your surroundings to, here you go, I'm out, I need to go out with the girls, or hey, I need a rest. I need to rest. I need time to decompress and relax.
I think to your point, it's about identifying when you need help, and feeling really confident asking for help, and feeling really good that someone else wants to do something for you and make your life easier, because we spend our whole lives doing that for other people. And I think as a parent, you realize that there is only so much you can do, and I think it's like incredible confidence builder to recognize when you can ask other people for help and to not feel guilty about it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Julia, really quickly, self-care practices. What makes
Sure.
you?
So I always feel like moms have to opt out of parenting and dads often get to opt in. And interestingly enough, I actually am separated from the dad of my daughter. And I feel like before we'd separated, I was doing like 80% of the parenting. Now that we're separated, we get along really well. I mean, we met in college, so like we're good friends. We really do parent 50-50 and we split our time now 50-50. And now it feels almost fair as a single mom. People like to be like, single mom, but I'm like, if you do it right, I get to sleep in for like, and I get to go to the spa, and I have friends who are just like, oh my God, like I never do that. And I'm like, well, you know what, maybe like the ideal would be for parents who are together to almost like or to parent as co-parents, and really like, even if you're spending all the time together as parents, like to really split that load in half and allow for moms to go and have that sleep in on certain days and go to the spa on certain days and just make that happen a little bit more.
I have a friend, Jody Patterson. She has 5 kids, and she's divorced from her husband. He has the kids for 1 week. She has the kids for 1 week. And I'm like, you have a week to yourself without 5 kids?
I mean, I was about to be like, I recommend no.
Oh, yeah.
Don't divorce your husband. But it's not all bad, let me say.
I'm like, Julia told me to leave you, honey.
For me, I honestly feel like having that recharge time makes me a better mom when I'm with my daughter.
I was just saying with my friends the other night of that whole like how women have a running to-do list in their heads all the time. And it's like that there's been articles about it, like the mental work that women do and the emotional work. And it's things like who sends the birthday cards to the in-laws and who does like all of this like all the time. And we were like, what do you think our husbands are thinking? And they're like, I think they just relax. Like I think, and then I was like, what could we do with all that extra mental space? Like, we could rule the world,
That's why they play like fantasy baseball or football or whatever they play.
Remembering when everyone's birthday is.
Did people see Tully? If they haven't, you should go and see that movie with Charlize Theron because it deals with this very issue.
Oh, really?
And he puts his like headphones on and he does the video games and he's like able to do that and she's in the background just like doing all the parenting while he's doing his video games.
Oh,
like,
that might feel too close to home.
I'm telling you, it's kind of a hard watch.
Okay, I might leave angry. Do you all feel mom guilt ever? Do you feel guilty about
Always.
either, having to go to work or wanting to spend time with your friends and not being with the children? Rachel, you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think when I realized that my friends that were stay-at-home moms also felt mom guilt, that was sort of a reality check for me that we all have like our shtick and we've got to like all get over it. But that if they are having mom guilt and they're with their kids, all day, every day, then there's probably no real solution to it. And instead, I should really focus on making sure that the time that I spend with my kids is completely uninterrupted, really dedicated and rich time together. And just cherish that and enjoy it instead of feeling like I've got to be multitasking while I'm with them. And so I'm very diligent about my schedule runs my life. And when I'm with my kids, it's all about my kids. And when I'm working, it's all about work. And I try not to commingle them.
Mossy, how do you handle the mom guilt? It's inevitable, but how do you handle it? How do you deal?
She's here because I felt guilty. Because I did another event. We flew to Philly, and then I'm like, there's no way, I just can't. I have to be with her. And it's been a challenge. Little girl at this stage, it's a challenge. But at the end of the day, I look back at my mom, and she was the breadwinner for many years in my family. And I look back and I say, whoa, my mom is my biggest role model, and she was gangster. She held it down. So I know that now everything that I'm doing is to build something for my daughter.
Yeah.
It's to make sure that she goes to a great school if she wants to be an astronaut, or if she wants to be the next Serena Williams or the next president of the United States. And I know that she's going to look back at this and say, my mom was dope. I know that. Yeah. So now it's more of, just like you said, just making sure that the time that I spend with Indy is quality time. And Stefan, and I, so, he's so awesome. But we have a schedule where we respect each other, where it's like, if I'm cooking, you're giving her a bath. If I have to mentally feel clear, you have Indy, and we support each other in that way. And you made a point earlier, and I feel like I have to say this, but more men who are just like Steph need to come out.
Yeah.
And I remember, sorry, babe, some of his friends sort of like, you know, like the machismo and,
Oh, of course.
and more men who are co-parents, who are all about their kids, who are supporters. They need to come out and put these men who feel like, oh, I don't do that. I'm a man. You know, put them in their places. You know, they need to come out. And people love Steph. They love him because he loves his daughter, and you see it. If you follow Stefan, you see it. We really have that balance, and I feel like we need to hold more men accountable. Like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Well, learn. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, well,
And
there you go. Let me teach you how to do
My father-in-law
so.
bragged about having never changed a diaper. But I was like, you have 2 kids. You raised 2 kids. You never
That
changed a
shouldn't be a
diaper.
bragging
That's
point.
shameful.
That's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
No, seriously. I mean, I'm going to hold you to that, and I'm going to teach you how to change that diaper, and you will change that diaper.
Yeah.
But I don't have that, thankfully, I don't have that problem. But more
I-
men, hopefully, we'll do things where we speak up about this, because more men need to be like
I
my
think
husband.
that's a part of raising a son. I think of that too, of like I am modeling for him. My husband is modeling for him what a
Yes.
good feminist dad is. I am modeling for him what a good feminist mom is.
That's a great point.
He cleans and cooks, and like there's no boys work.
He was
and
raised by a
girls
single
work.
mother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he is who he is because his mom raised him like that. So, yeah.
I think it's a very good point, and I think it's important I have a 3-year-old, and I love that he sees mommy going to work. You know, the other day I had papers, I was moderating another panel, and I had all these papers spread out in my lap, and he's like, no more work, mommy, no more work, and he just took my papers and removed them, and a part of me felt really guilty, but a part of me was very happy that he knows that mommy works. One of the things, I interviewed Cindy Levy, who was the former editor-in-chief of Glamour years ago, and this was long before I had a child, but one of the things she said that stuck with me is that she liked seeing that her mother had passions outside of her. Her mother was a scientist, so it was very important for her to see that her mother had other things going on in her life, and while she was at the center of her mother's life, she wasn't the only thing in her mother's life, and that's something that always stayed with her, and as a result, she passed that along to me, so I'm passing it along to you. They're telling me that I have to wrap in a few, but really quickly, how do you assuage mommy guilt? How do you assuage mommy guilt, ladies?
Honestly, I feel like mommy guilt is not only about guilty for being with your kid or not with your kid. I think it's also work too in your career. And there's that guilt about like, you know, leaving on time, you know, not necessarily, you see people without kids putting the long hours and things, and just like, it's as much about, I think, not trying not to feel guilty about not spending time with the kid as it is about trying not to feel guilty about actually like leaving work, you know, and that balance, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's that, I mean, all of the things that have been said already, I'm very diligent about, like, I do not check work email when I'm, like, when it's family time, when I'm with my son, like, I'm not saving lives, like, nothing is that important, you know? And yeah, that idea, I was raised by a single mother too, like, she's my biggest role model, and it's so hard to leave my son after 4 months of maternity leave, but that idea of like I am doing this for him and modeling for him, like I'm helping raise. There was something that was like, you're not raising children, you're raising future adults. Like I am like raising this great man, you know, like I am making this great person.
I love that. We're going to open it up for questions. Okay, so while they're getting that going, I ran across a study from Fast Company while I was doing my research for this panel, and I wanted to run through some of the things that you all discovered, because we always hear about the challenges of motherhood and how difficult it is, but there's some other really cool things that come along with motherhood, and if you're in the right environment, motherhood can actually be wonderful for your career and your life. So, really quickly, so motherhood can help boost your network. Good thing. All of a sudden, you're coming to panels like this and networking with other moms. You had there was a moment in the study where a woman talked about reaching out to another mom CEO for advice, and the mom CEO felt compelled to call her back because she knew that the woman was trying to figure it all out. So that was great.
I mean, it's a great equalizer too. Like if you have kids, if you both have kids, you can talk to anybody.
You got it.
Yeah.
True. Parenthood makes moms approach their work with more purpose. So they said that mothers decide whether or not this is something I really want to be doing. If I'm going to be leaving my child, it better be worth it. And so if you use that to guide all of your decisions, you find that you make better decisions.
And money. You ask for more money, I think, as your mom.
More money.
It's not about you anymore.
That's right. It also helps you maximize your people skills. I mean, I don't know if you've had to negotiate trying to get a kid in the bath or get two kids fighting over a Paw Patrol toy. If you've had to okay, you get to play with it, so you can solve a crisis in the Middle East if you can get the Paw Patrol. It's not that. We talked about moms being highly skilled at time management as well. I was interested to know that moms are more confident in their abilities. They don't have time for self-doubt. They have to get it done. So all the moments that you spent agonizing about whether or not I'm good enough, if I'm worthy, you don't have time to do that anymore. You've just got to get it done. So that was great. Motherhood can bring inspiration. Just sometimes rolling around the floor, playing with those little ones, a little Lego, Play-Doh moment can lead to inspiration. One of the founders of Mumsy, she just had a baby, decided she didn't want to go back to work, had to figure it all out, created a crowdsourcing organization for mom entrepreneurs and eventually sold it. So,
Start Rockets of Awesome.
Start Rockets of Awesome, like Rachel. Start Rockets, exactly. And again, and you just said it, it gives you an opportunity to be a great example for future leaders. So thank you, ladies. Okay, now it's your turn, ladies. Ask away. Who's up first?
Hi, my name is Nina, and I have a potty training product, Peekaboo Potty Sticker, that came out of my challenges of potty training my son with autism, and now I have a business as a result of that. So absolutely the inspiration. I just wanted to say thank you all. This was great. I'm nodding my head like a million times. Something I heard about mom guilt that I just wanted to share. Do people know Esther Perel, the French therapist? So she had said something that just has stayed with me the last couple of weeks, is that when you impart to your child that you feel guilty about leaving or guilty about going or guilty about working, you're teaching your child that you're making choices that you don't like and you're doing it anyway. So she says whenever you feel bad about something and you tell your child you feel bad but you're going to do it anyway, you're not teaching them good decision-making skills.
So what should you do instead?
So she's saying if you're gonna go to work, like you said, if it's worth leaving your child for, then it's a worthy activity. So you impart that to your child, and you don't even always have to say, well, we'll go to the playground later, but you say, this is what I'm doing, and it's important to mommy, and I need to do that. So it sort of changed what I thought about how I should leave my son when I'm doing something, or even I have an anniversary trip and my son's like, well, why aren't I coming with you? No. This is important to mommy and daddy. You wouldn't be here if we didn't love each other for 20 years. So, so I just wanted to share that about mom guilt. And again, thank you all for this. I love it.
Thank you. That was a great...
We did an article about that, about like how you talk about your work in front of your kids, and it's like little unconscious things like, oh, I have to go to work today, or I can't wait for the weekend, or oh, this person is horrible. And it's like that sends these messages that like, oh, work's a bad thing, you don't like it, you don't wish yeah.
Yeah, I try to always say, when they say, why do you have to go? I say, because I love what I do. You know how you love doing X, like playing baseball or whatever? Mommy loves doing this.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hi, my name is Theodora. I'm a psychologist and a parenting coach. The main thing that's been going through my head this whole time is that if you can see it, you can be it. And so I was watching last night Katie Couric, America Inside Out, where she was talking about gender inequality in media and the fact that little girls, if they can't see women such as yourselves, they can't really picture themselves being in leadership positions. So I thank you for making yourselves visible so that we can all see you. But my question also is whether you grew up kind of, I don't know, I guess picturing yourselves as being CEOs or being leaders or being bosses, I guess. And if not, how did you make yourselves into those roles? Thank you.
Well, we'll start with the resident CEO and work our way.
I never grew up thinking that I could or couldn't be something. And my mom didn't work growing up, but my dad did, and I think I really admired him. So definitely somebody that I looked up to. So I always felt like I could do, pretty much anything. I didn't know what that was. I never thought that I was as comfortable with risk as I am, and so I think that that's something that I've learned and developed over time. So I never thought that I would run my own company. I thought that I would sort of follow the traditional path of climbing the ladder and going to business school and then maybe running a company someday, somebody else's company. So this has certainly been a progression. This is the third company that I've built and ran. And the first one I had sold. And so it's all been baby steps, and each company is sort of built upon the next to gain comfort. But I think what is remarkable is that I never felt like I could or couldn't do something growing up.
Okay, next question. While we search for questions.
Well, can I say something?
Sure.
My mom was a breadwinner for like many, many years. And I saw my parents, I'm from the Dominican Republic. We're very, very humble. And my mom, like I said, she was just gangster in her approach, making sacrifices, being a go-getter, not being afraid of jumping in, even when she acquired her first, our first home. She was telling me the story, and I'm just like amazed at her courage to go and do things. So when I started my fitness journey, and I even had my parents like doubt, like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like fitness, work at a gym, like what are you gonna do? And I said, no, I feel it, and I'm just gonna go for it. Like this is what I love. This is what I want to do. And my husband and I, we acquired our supplement company. It started as a line. And I said, you know what? My house can wait. I believe in this. I'm going to make this the holistic fitness supplement line, just like Honest, just like Jessica Alba. And we went for it, and we put everything into the business, and we reinvest everything into ourselves and into our company, and our consumers are the people who love us and seen our journey and follow us, and we reinvest everything in every single step. I'm not afraid to do anything, to launch something, because at the end of the day, it's either it's going to do well or it's going to fail. But in my mind, I don't see failure as a negativity. I see failure as, oh, now I know how to do it. If there's a pebble in the road, I know it's there now. I'm just going to skip right through it. Right. So, no, for your question, my mom, being a power woman or a power mom, she shaped the woman I am today. She's awesome.
Shout out to Mossie's mom. Yay.
Awesome.
My mother's very strong as well, and my father is also very strong. They are immigrants from Nigeria, and so when you're first generation, you see your parents really, really working, and both parents are working. There's no time for, this is not what a man does, this is not what a woman does. It's like whoever's home first cooks, whoever's home gives the kids a bath. That's just the way it happened in my house growing up. So when I met my husband, the expectation was that he would contribute as well. But it did, again, to piggyback on what you were saying, having a strong mother also helped shape my own personal identity, knowing that I could balance work and motherhood because my mother did it. And there were times when I didn't see her, but I knew that she was doing it because she was sacrificing her happiness on many occasions to make sure that we had a better life. So I saw
and when
that.
you grow up that way with same thing, my mom was the breadwinner. You don't question it, that's reality. And it sort of takes it like till I got older to be like, oh, maybe my household wasn't that standard. Having my dad was at home, my mom was going out and working. And I think the more that, like we were saying, more people see that happening as a kid, the more it's just gonna become the norm.
Okay. Maybe 2 more questions? Okay.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us and share your story. Love it all. You too, Masin. I'm a first-time mother. My daughter's about to be 10 months old, and I'm like overwhelmed with so many obstacles. I'm starting my own business to help parents find their why, their passion, and to turn that into a business. And my question to you all is, what is your biggest obstacle and how do you overcome it starting your business or your position?
For me, I think it was turning down opportunities and seeing the bigger picture, believing in myself and saying like, no, this is not right. Reinvesting everything in me and promoting me as opposed to doing things for the money, you know? And I'll share a little story with you guys. Before my husband and I started even doing our programs online in our supplement company, we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, like a little studio apartment with all our stuff like piled up. And people, you know, peers of mine and people that I used to see maybe looked at us like, oh, you know, like, okay.
Right.
And that was the biggest obstacle, to be patient enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna build with what I have, because what I have is plenty, and I'm just gonna build and have the patience to put one more brick and one more brick and one more brick. So looking at the bigger picture and not sacrificing that for the now.
Right.
Obviously, there's things that you have to do in order to survive, but if you can make certain sacrifices and know, like, okay, I'm just gonna wait a little longer or make these sacrifices for the things that I want. That's I found it challenging, and I know that a lot of people. I really don't care what people think of me. I think I have my little, as a mom, I have my little crew. That's the beauty of, you know, being in a marriage and having your kids. I have everything I need. I don't care what people think. I'm just going to build from within and look at the bigger picture. That's what I've done.
Perfect. Okay, yes?
Hi, my name is Ria. Some people may know me, but if you don't, it's okay. I'm known as Artist Ria on artist_Ria on Instagram. I recently left corporate America to fulfill my dream to become an artist. And I can completely agree with you said, like, don't do everything for the money, because I get a lot of people asking me, oh, do you want to draw this? And it's something that I completely disagree with. Sometimes it's stuff that, even though it's a good commission, I don't want to take it just because. But I grew up in foster care, so I have to be that power mom for my kids because my parents weren't there. So your story really resonates with me because I remember, sorry, I'm not getting emotional, but I am. One of your posts, it was a couple years ago, you put a post up of your old self, and you was skinny. You was like, to an average woman, you would have looked fit. But you were like, I was so unhealthy and I didn't like myself. And that's when you chose to take your life back. And that also with me, I lost recently a lot of weight. I started putting my kids first. And now I cannot even tell you, like, I stopped working officially in August, but I have every single bill paid and still paying my mortgage, everything. It's because of following power moms like you guys and just seeing how you work things and how your entrepreneurial, I don't know if I said that right, but entrepreneurial spirit, it like resonates with so many people. So don't ever stop, even if you get discouraged. Just remember, there's people like me out here rooting for you.
You know, while we queue up another question, Julia and Kate, I want to talk to you about the modern workplace because, you know, Ria mentioned leaving. We have two women who are their own bosses on the panel as well. We talked about income inequality, particularly when it comes to motherhood. I found some stats on that. Fatherhood can be a career boost for men. Men's earnings increase by 6% per child, while women's wages decrease by 4% for each child. So clearly, the modern workplace is not working for women. What can be done to make it a more hospitable environment for women? We hear all the time about women who are doing really well, rising, climbing the corporate ladder, and then they have children and their careers sort of either stagnate or begin to plummet because of children. And it's not that they want to work any less. They just have to work differently. And it seems like the modern workplace just hasn't figured that out. What can be done to help these companies figure out, one, that it's important to retain this talent, and two, it's important to change of the environment so this talent can flourish once that person, this woman, this mother has been retained.
I mean, it's so much more a part of the conversation now, which is great, and those questions are getting asked, and there's so much research to back it up that companies that have more women in leadership positions actually make more money. Companies that have more diverse staffs make more money, if you think about it, because they can reflect the customer base of whatever it is. Like, you bring a diversity of thought to your leadership or whatever. So getting that through people's heads, but it's also like I said before, like the male allies, the white men that are already in power, helping to advocate for women and people of color, and then once women and people of color get in those positions, helping bring up the rising tides lift all boats. We're not in competition with each other. That whole like helping each other once we get there. But I think it's also like, for me, part of the reason why I picked Fast Company to work for is it's a magazine that practices what it preaches. Like, we cover these sorts of issues all the time, and the leadership there followed it. And I had two male bosses who were dads who were happy for me when I got pregnant, who were fine with me working from home for 2 days a week, who did not see it as a detriment to my career at all. So I think it takes that too.
But I think it's also incumbent upon us as leaders, and as we rise up in the ranks of our organizations or in running organizations, to lead by example, right? And so I think it's a great motivator for all of us to get to the top as quickly as possible, and help women get to the top as quickly as possible, so that they can be making those changes themselves as well.
Yeah, and I think
love that. Yeah.
Flexibility in the workplace is so important, and like I was saying
I
earlier,
think that in many ways would be
Yes.
the most significant change
Absolutely.
if
And I don't want it to
workplaces would just
be-
relax.
And I don't want it to just be, moms, you can work from home sometimes. It should be that everybody has the flexibility. And I say to my team, and Lauren knows this because she's on my team, I don't care. I don't care where you work. I don't care. I mean, okay, look, I'm lucky. I work on a website, so we can literally do our jobs from anywhere. But like, I don't care where you work as long as you get the work done. And I'm also lucky to work on a team of awesome women, and in a workplace working for Parents Magazine, Parents.com. It's a lot of moms, it's a lot of women. And so I trust my team. I hire a team that I can trust that they'll get that work done. So do it whatever time. If your work time, and when I say flexibility, it's not just where, but like what time. So we all know that for moms, the work day might look different if it was up to you. It might be after bedtime. You might put in a couple hours,
Right.
So I don't care where you do the work or when, just get it done.
Just get it exactly.
And that's like the best management advice is always hire smart people and get out of their way. Like,
Totally.
trust them to, and that's why, like, you can get it done wherever,
Okay, do you have a question?
I said she hiring.
Oh, is she hiring? That's a very good question. Are you
Talk to the
hiring?
white men at the top and get us budget. Yeah, no. Just kidding. Only white men.
I love you, white men. But I do have a period, sir. Do we have a few more questions? Don't be shy, ladies. They can answer anything. While you're looking, Mossy, can I ask you a question? A lot of my mom friends, they want to get their pre-baby bodies back. They don't have time to work out. What are some quick things we can do at home to maybe just get in a little something, so get a little something done, a little Operation Snapback?
I think
Is it
the one
squats
thing
while
that
we're like?
messes people the most is thinking they have to have the perfect scenario to get things done. And you don't have to have an hour and a half in the gym in order to move. And you can move anywhere if you think about it. Like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, Steph and I were just, walking around. I obviously packed thinking it was gonna be cold. And nope, it's pretty hot. So we're just walking around, and I had Carrie Indy, my little ergo baby thing carrier, and we walked. We probably walked for an hour and a half. That's movement. That is energy spent. That is 28 pounds on me that I'm literally going around and carrying. How about, and people think you're going to be tired after working out. And in reality, you're going to be even more energized. So, water is key. There's so many people who are not drinking, hydrating properly.
Now we hear all sorts
That's
of
the key
things.
to weight loss. Water.
Oh, wait. So I cut you off. Say that again. Say it very slowly.
Water is the key to weight loss.
Explain, and then tell us how much water we should be drinking. And then someone get me some water.
and here's the reasoning as to, let me say, fiber and water are the two keys to weight loss. And water,
Fiber and
your
water.
brain doesn't distinguish what is hunger and what is thirst. It cannot distinguish it on its own. So say you're eating and you ate a decent sized plate and you're dehydrated. You're just gonna be like, I'm still hungry, and you're just gonna continue eating. Also, your body's mostly water. So in order for you to have beautiful skin, flush out sodium, bloating, all of that, you need water. We're mostly water. Fiber. That's the one thing. Fiber and good fats. For the longest, we think, fat is going to make me fat. Not really. You need to think about what type of fats. So
what are good fats and what are bad fats? Like,
obviously, fats in moderation, but avocados, any nuts, nuts.
Nuts are good.
Yeah, nuts
Okay.
nuts are great. Gives you energy, will satisfy you. Avocados are amazing. Coconut is amazing. Fiber. It's not that you cannot eat carbs. What type of carbs are you eating? Yesterday on that walk, if you look at my story, I was just whoever stopped me, and then my phone died. Whoever stopped me in the street, I would just snap and take a picture with them. So yesterday, this girl is like, "Oh, Masi, your body, look at that stomach and your abs and all that." But what was she eating? A bag of chips. But seriously, she's like, "Oh, and I had nothing." Like, there's absolutely no nutritional value in a bag of chips. You get a little tiny Doritos bag. They're delicious, and don't get me wrong, I do have chips from time to time, but overall, I have whole food. So if you're looking at that bag of chips that is 150 calories, and how do I know that? It's because I know I eat chips, right? Instead, look at something with more nutritional value. If you actually have half an avocado, that is going to satisfy you and control your hunger and balance out your hormones, and you're not going to be hungry. You have a bag of chips, I'm sorry, but that's not going to fill you up. So eliminating juices and having the whole fruit instead, right? That's where the fiber is at, and that's what's going to keep you satisfied for longer, as opposed to you just not having any things with no nutritional value.
And
what can you do at home? You can easily do a 20-minute workout from home with your child, or even without your child if the child is too heavy. But things that you can do, compound movements, utilize your body. You not necessarily have to go to the gym to get a great workout. If you can master your body, your own body, you can master anything. So that's why I try to incorporate different things that you can see, like, oh, how can I move today? So, you want to demonstrate?
Sure. I'll take a free Mossy demonstration.
Yeah.
All right, give the cameras a moment to
wait.
Let's make sure the cameras are able to capture this. Oh.
So for example, if I give you 4 simple moves, right?
Okay, we're ready.
All right. So imagine you're holding a squat isometrically for 30 seconds right here.
Okay.
Even use
You're in heels, by the way.
Right? So imagine if you're doing a squat and holding it isometrically 30 seconds. Then I tell you, pop for 30 more seconds, right?
Okay.
No rest in between. Then you go ahead, okay, what can we do for the arms? This is no rest in between. Remember, you already worked out your lower half. It's gonna be burning, but now, because the upper body is well rested, now you can utilize maybe your chair to do some triceps, right? Now, imagine if I tell you go for 30 seconds non-stop, right? As many reps as you can. You can be really slow if you're a beginner, or if you're just a little more advanced, just popping for 30 seconds.
Now I want to try. Hold on,
30
Mousy.
seconds. Then after your arms, right?
Okay.
So elbows, yeah, elbows go out. Elbows do not go out. They stay nice and in.
Okay.
So come down, drop it low, and come right back up.
Okay.
Right, and stay close to the bench. So go for 30 seconds.
Okay. No, well, let's try 10. 1,
Right?
2, 9.
Right? And then you focus on another body part, and then you focus on another body part. And that's how you can get, go lower, go upper, go abdominals. And there's no rest in between because all those body parts are already resting while you're working another body part. And this is something you can do at home, super easy. Takes 20 minutes, but at least you're moving. And don't think that even for a walk, even if you go for a walk for 30 minutes, that's still movement. You're still burning calories because at the end of the day, food is energy. What you put in needs to be burned. So create that deficit either by combining your nutrition with some sort of movement, because honestly, if you're not active, it's going to be so hard to create deficit only in nutrition. And this is when we have women starving, fasting, and it's so bad for us in our hormones. We're not meant to fast. We're meant to, even if you have something every 3 hours, hormonally, this is why we get hangry, want to snap people's faces when we don't get food, right?
Yeah.
So, well, I do. So that's something you can do at home as simple movements.
All right, so we're going to drink more water. We're going to move more
fiber.
We're going to cut down on the chips. Pick
Things
up
with no
some good
nutritional
fats
value.
like avocado.
Read your labels. If it doesn't have any fiber,
it's
why
not
do
for
need it?
you.
Don't. Like 1 gram of fiber, that's nothing. Go for things that are 3, 4, 5 grams of fiber.
Okay, and more fiber. All right.
Yes.
They're telling me we have 3 more questions. Let's make them count. Oh, 3 minutes.
Oh, no.
3 more minutes. That was a tease. And then, oh, yes. Okay, yes.
I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of cold water. Is that bad?
It's, to be quite honest with you, water is water. People say, oh, warm water. It's the same thing. You actually lose weight by drinking cold water. Because think about it, once it gets into your system, your body itself has to utilize energy in order to warm it up inside you. So you're actually doing a great thing.
All right. So now I'm like, is it making me feel bloated?
I don't think so. It's not. So think about like bloating. It actually reduces bloating. Add some lemon. Add some lemon to your water. But fiber is where it's at because it's just going to keep you a lot more satisfied throughout the day.
And fiber helps, clean the pipes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And if the pipes are clean, there's no gut.
There's no...
Seriously.
And there's no
bloating.
six-pack. Yeah. I think we have time for one more question because I feel like that was a minute 30. 1 minute, they're telling me. Who wants to make it count? Well,
Then we can
you
get some
ask it,
wafers.
but really, and then I want to ask one, so I'll have the final question. Okay.
So I work a 9 to 5. I'm not really happy. So it's like being a female and being in the fitness industry. I just got certified, and just having the confidence to actually step out there and create your own brand, because that's something that I want to do. How did you gain that confidence? And I have bills to pay, so I can't really leave my 9 to 5 right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, just like I told you, like my mom, I saw my mom being fearless, and that's what I learned. So my personality, I'm very out there, and I put myself out there because at the end of the day, it's like, here's the thing. When you're yourself, you're going to attract the right energy to you, right? So I'm not someone who is portrayed to be different. I'm myself. And doing something that you're passionate about and giving people the tools. So be an educator more than you're just, trying to make that dollar and try to make that dime. Because at the end of the day, your passion and your your integrity is going to carry out. And energy is something so real, guys. Like energy, I really do believe in the energy you put out is the energy you're going to receive. And if you're tired of your 9 to 5, guess what? Dedicate a couple of hours. And I know that we're almost, maybe I'll have this conversation once we are mingling. But when I first started and I didn't have money to, I didn't want to go to a gym like New York Sports Club and have them take away some part of this money. I used to go, think about this. I was at Planet Fitness and for $20, I used to get on the train, go to the Bronx, then another one, go to Manhattan, then go to Brooklyn until I got caught and I got kicked out. But it's like, it's the little things. No, seriously, it's the little things. Sacrifice. Things are going to be so hard in the beginning if you don't have a network and even a following now, right? But honestly, build slow and build from within, because after that, I started at the park, at Central Park, until literally one person would show up. I never gave up. And my integrity, girl, you need to come and take this class. This girl, I love her energy. Until we literally got kicked out of the Central Park, and they were like, you need to pay $25,000 for this massive class, because we had like what? Over like 150 people all gathered together at one point.
Wow.
So it's like, if you are passionate about it, and that energy and that passion is going to carry out, and people are going to feel it and they're going to gravitate towards you. That's the best advice I can give you.
No problem. And so, see, that's a perfect segue for me. So she's given us a great piece of advice. Ladies, Rachel, I'll start with you. Can you give us one piece of advice that we can take away about just how to be a rock star mom who balances work and life? Or I know balance is not a popular word right now, but
no, there's no balance.
There's no balance,
there's
right?
no
But
balance.
just a nice piece of advice so we can all leave here feeling like rock stars.
I really believe in sort of that age-old saying of fake it till you make it. Because I think whether we are super established or we're just trying to get going, we all feel like we're faking it to some degree. And you need that sort of fraud feeling to really fight hard for what you believe in. So just fake it and no one will know.
Okay, I love it. Julia, your turn.
Well, I would say that multitasking is a fallacy. It's actually impossible. They've done studies about it. Like, you can't do two things at once, so do things one at a time and do a good job of them, and write stuff down. That's my big piece of advice. Like, write down your goals. Like, I do the bullet journal thing just because I like to just see everything in front of me. So whether it's your to-do list for the day, or your to-do list for the month, or your to-do list for your life, write it down.
Write it down. Okay. And
Well,
Kate.
it's been a theme. Ask for help. Like, ask if you have a spouse, ask them they should be doing 50-50. At work, ask for help. But also, in this one I'm really bad at is tooting your own horn, which women do not do enough. You know, men are really good at bragging about their accomplishments, and I'm horrible. It feels awful to but like, promote yourself at work, because that's how you get noticed and get promoted, and yeah.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Did you guys have a good time? Yeah, that was awesome, right? They're fantastic.